Once upon a time, in a small green forest at the edge of a wide, sparkling river, lived a little fox named Fuzzy. Fuzzy had soft, reddish fur and a bushy tail that he loved to swish back and forth as he ran through the trees. Every morning, Fuzzy would wake up early, stretch his tiny legs, and dash outside his cozy burrow, ready to explore. He was the most curious fox in the forest and loved finding new things. One sunny day, as Fuzzy trotted along his favorite path, he heard the gentle sound of water flowing over rocks. Following the sound, he found himself by the river's edge. There, shining in the sunlight, was a small, round stone. But this wasn't just any stone. It was bright blue, almost like a piece of the sky had fallen into the river. Fuzzy's eyes grew wide with wonder, and he could hardly believe how beautiful it was. He stepped closer, feeling the cool earth under his paws, and carefully picked up the stone. "Oh, how beautiful!" Fuzzy whispered to himself, his voice filled with excitement. The stone sparkled in the sunlight, casting little blue glimmers all around. "I wonder if it's magic," he thought, looking around to see if anyone else had spotted this amazing treasure. Fuzzy held the shiny, blue stone close, feeling its smooth surface with his tiny paws. The stone felt cool to the touch, and as he turned it over, he noticed tiny swirls and sparkles inside, like little rivers and stars were hidden deep within it. Fuzzy's mind began to race with questions. What if this stone really is magic? What if it can grant wishes? Excitedly, he sat down by the river, holding the stone in his paws and thinking about all the wishes he could make. First, he thought about wishing for a big basket of berries, juicy, red ones that he loved to snack on. Then he thought about wishing for wings so he could fly above the trees and see the whole forest from the sky. But as he gazed at the stone, another thought came to him. He wanted to share this beautiful discovery with his best friends. Fuzzy stood up and trotted down the forest path, eager to show the stone to his friends, Squeaky the squirrel and Hoppy the rabbit. Squeaky was a little gray squirrel with a big, fluffy tail and bright eyes, and Hoppy was a small brown rabbit with long ears and a gentle heart. Fuzzy was sure they would be just as amazed by the stone as he was. "Look what I found!" Fuzzy called out, holding the stone high as he ran into their favorite gathering spot, a soft, grassy area under a big oak tree. Squeaky and Hoppy turned to look, their eyes widening as they saw the sparkling blue stone. "Wow, Fuzzy!" squeaked Squeaky, bouncing over to get a closer look. "I've never seen a stone like that before. It's so shiny." Hoppy leaned in, her nose twitching with excitement. "It looks like it has tiny stars inside. Do you think it's magic?" Fuzzy's tail swished with joy. "I think it might be. Maybe it can grant wishes," he said with a little grin, feeling proud of his discovery. The three friends sat down together in a circle, with the stone resting in the middle. They took turns thinking of different wishes they could make, their little hearts full of wonder. Squeaky thought about wishing for a giant pile of acorns, enough to last him through the whole winter. Hoppy dreamed of fields of bright, colorful flowers that she could hop through whenever she wanted. But then they all stopped and looked at each other, realizing something very important. Maybe they could use their wish for something special that would help all of them. "Maybe we can make a wish for everyone in the forest," Hoppy suggested, her eyes shining. "We could wish for the best berry season ever, so everyone has enough food." Squeaky's tail quivered with excitement as he nodded. "Yes, that would be wonderful. Imagine all the berries and nuts we could share with everyone." Fuzzy thought about this and felt his heart fill with happiness. The idea of a wish that would help all the forest animals made him feel warm inside. "I think that's the perfect wish," he said, looking at the stone. "Let's wish for a forest filled with food and happiness for everyone." The three friends held paws around the stone, closing their eyes tightly as they whispered their wish together. The wind around them seemed to pick up, and the stone glowed a little brighter, as if it understood their kind, selfless wish. They all felt a tingling in their paws, like the magic was spreading through them, filling them with joy. After a few moments, the glow faded, and they opened their eyes. The stone looked the same, but they felt different. They looked at each other with smiles, knowing that they had done something special. Days passed, and soon, the forest was filled with an abundance of food. Berry bushes bloomed with juicy, red berries, acorns fell from the oak trees in abundance, and even new flower fields sprang up, filling the air with a sweet fragrance. All the animals in the forest noticed the change, and everyone was happy and well-fed. Fuzzy, Squeaky, and Hoppy watched as their wish came true, feeling proud and grateful. They knew they had made the right choice with their magical wish, sharing happiness with their forest friends. As the days turned into weeks, the forest transformed into a place of joy and laughter. The animals gathered together, sharing stories, playing games, and enjoying the bountiful food that surrounded them. Fuzzy, Squeaky, and Hoppy became heroes of the forest, though they kept the secret of the magic stone between themselves. They didn't want anyone to know, not because they wanted to hide it, but because they believed that the real magic had come from their friendship and the wish they made together. One evening, as the sun set and the forest was bathed in a soft, golden glow, the three friends gathered under the big oak tree. The stone lay in the middle of their circle, still as beautiful and shiny as the day Fuzzy had found it. They sat quietly for a while, listening to the sounds of the evening, the gentle rustling of leaves, the chirping of crickets, and the soft whispers of the wind. "I'm glad we made the wish together," Squeaky said, his eyes sparkling as he looked at his friends. "It feels good to know we helped everyone." "Me too," Hoppy agreed, her long ears twitching happily. "This has been the best summer ever. And it's all because we thought of others, not just ourselves." Fuzzy looked at the stone, feeling a sense of peace. "I'm happy I found the stone, but I'm even happier that we shared it. That's what makes this so special." They all nodded in agreement, and as they sat there, something magical happened. The stone began to glow softly, brighter than ever before. It lifted off the ground, floating gently in the air. The friends watched in amazement as the stone rose higher and higher, spinning slowly, its light growing warmer and more golden. "It's saying goodbye," Hoppy whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "Maybe it knows we've finished our wish." The stone hovered for a moment longer, its light filling the clearing, and then, in a burst of soft, shimmering light, it disappeared into the sky. Fuzzy, Squeaky, and Hoppy watched until the last trace of light faded, feeling a mixture of joy and sadness. The magic stone was gone, but its gift remained, a forest full of life, laughter, and endless possibilities. "We'll always remember this," Fuzzy said quietly, smiling at his friends. "Always," Squeaky and Hoppy echoed, their hearts full of happiness. From that day on, the forest thrived. And every time Fuzzy ran through the trees or sat by the river, he thought of the blue stone that had brought them all together. He knew that, even though the stone was gone, its magic would stay with them forever, because real magic comes from kindness, friendship, and the joy of sharing what you have with others. And so, the story of Fuzzy, the magical stone, and a wish that brought happiness to the entire forest became a legend, passed down through generations of animals who lived in the green, thriving forest. It was a story of love, kindness, and the unbreakable bond of true friendship, a story that would never be forgotten.